Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
I am Nick.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we're talking about Ghostbusters.
Ah! What is it, honey?
It's that darn ghost again. He just won't leave us alone. I guess we're just going to have to move.
No, wait! Don't worry. We're not moving. He is.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters!
New movie is out, starring Kristen Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, Leslie Jones, Kate McKinnon, directed by Paul Feig. Roundtable, I guess off the bat. Nick, what did you think?
Oh, I didn't love it.
Okay, well, did you like it, though?
I did like it, but I didn't love it. I love Ghostbusters 1.
I think
I
this is going to be
didn't love this one.
I think this is going to be a very meh episode. Because I definitely like it as well, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
That's a good...
Are we in unison here?
Well, yeah, I guess if you two are very, instead of I'm more too. It was okay. I mean, I didn't think it was funny.
I thought there was definitly funny parts to it.
There was a few. Yeah.
I kind of felt like the trailer really highlighted the funny parts to me, and the rest of the show, I was like, where is it? Is it coming now? Is it going to happen now? Is it here? No, none of it.
The parts
I'm exaggerating a little, but
the parts I think that were funny weren't laugh out loud funny.
I laughed out loud a couple times. I can't remember what at, but I remember I should have been a little bit quieter with that laugh.
they could have called it the Ghostbusters secretary, and I'd have enjoyed it more.
Chris
Hemsworth to me was the best part of that whole movie as their secretary.
Yeah,
I'm gonna pull a full 180 and say he was the worst part of that movie.
Really, man.
Wait, you didn't like Chris Hemsworth at all? Not even a little bit?
There was one joke, the saxophone joke was funny. Him playing the saxophone and then listening to the saxophone.
Oh, okay, yeah. His portraits.
There was he had a couple funny lines, but he was just way too dumb for me.
He did get a little over realistic dumb, no doubt. I think I was talking to Dad about that. He did get a little too far into it, but there were some parts where I wasn't laughing out loud like you said, but I was having a meaty chuckle, in my seat.
Yeah, like a hearty chuckle. I think I chortled. That's a word, right?
Chortled.
I think I chortled a little bit out loud at some of the funny parts. I really liked Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon was, in my opinion, the best part of the movie.
She was the best Ghostbuster, I think.
Was she underused? I felt like she was.
She was very underused.
I felt like she was in a lot of scenes, but she was just there for a lot of scenes. She wasn't.
I don't know. I think she was all right. Maybe I could have used a little bit more of her, but
I feel like they focused a lot on the Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy friendship, broken friendship / trying to mend it back together over their love of ghosts. But yeah, I felt the same way about Kate McKinnon. She was there a lot, just didn't. She didn't get the chance to just. Because she's on Saturday Night Live.
Uh-huh.
And I know Cinamen Tyler showed me a bunch of clips of some of her kind of crazier stuff, and that's how she got cast.
She's funny.
He saw her on Saturday Night Live and was like, I need someone crazy. And they just didn't get to, you didn't get to see the craziness.
Part of that, in my opinion, maybe thinks that this was a risky project to begin with. I mean, as soon as this got announced, female Ghostbusters, everybody took to the internet to cry about it. And for one reason or another. And so I think Sony wanted most of the laughs coming from their two big names. They're the trio, I guess, if you count the director. Is they go way back. They did The Heat. They did Bridesmaids. So they're a performing team. But I think Sony maybe really relied on them too heavily. Maybe that's why we didn't see Kate McKinnon more. But why she was there and not talking or the center of attention, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's good that you bring up the all-female cast. I mean, obviously, it's the elephant in the room. I think that's something they did really well in the movie. I never felt like this is Ghostbusters and we just replaced them with females. Obviously, there's two characters that had counterpoints, but I couldn't really tell who Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig were supposed to be. Which one was Dan Aykroyd and which one was Bill Murray? It's not like they were the same carbon copy characters.
They didn't have.
It seemed like they each had their own thing.
Yeah, I guess now that you mentioned it, I initially thinking about that would have said
Melissa McCarthy
would be. I'd have thought she was Dan Aykroyd at first. Because Kristen Wiig was the scientist.
So you think Kate McKinnon is Harold Ramis? Egon Spengler?
I guess by process of elimination,
Yeah.
I
Because-
didn't think about that far.
You don't think Kristen Wiig is Bill Murray? You don't think
I'd have said that at first.
but you don't think so now.
I don't know.
I think they're their own
How devoted
characters.
was Bill Murray's character to science?
I mean, if
Dan
we're
Aykroyd was.
if we're having to give them all,
their
the
role.
new and the old role, I would call her the Bill Murray character. She's the one that got canned from her job.
she's the lead, so to
Yeah,
speak.
Bill Murray, like, once the Ghostbusters were done, I feel like he just kind of went where, like, the fame and money was. Like, he went on the Ghost, or he had that World Sidekick show, whatever, that apparently didn't have super ratings. Like, his life seemed the most in shambles, and so did hers. And, she was kind of like the star of the movie. He was, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
But the fact that we can sit here and try to debate it is good because it means that they didn't just shoehorn them into four, they didn't
Yeah.
just take 4 people out and put 4 women
They weren't
in.
like, you need to act like Bill Murray, you need to act like Harold Ramis, R.I.P. You need to act like Ernie Hudson.
And even the jokes didn't seem like, oh, we're girls, so this is funny.
No, they did a solid job. I
So-
like
Yeah,
them.
they didn't play on the girls can't do it as good as the guys
Right.
kind of thing, and that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah, there was no one even in the movie like, why are you guys Ghostbusters? You're women. Or like, this isn't a job for women, or women can't be scientists. There was none of that. It wasn't like a girl power kind of thing. It was just 4 ladies that happened to hunt ghosts. And I really like that. I really think that they did well. I like the movie a lot. It's definitely not even close to my favorite movie of the year. But I think they did a good job.
Overall, I think it was a good film. It's really cool.
Yeah.
All the ghosts looked cool. Like, the ghosts were like blue, but then there's also like the green in the background, like some red, bright red here and there. A lot of good color usage.
Very vibrant.
Yes. City had like a very normal palette color, and then the supernatural stuff really enhanced it, and really cool.
The
to
visuals
look at.
were 100 times better than the first one. I mean, technology's 100 times better than it was back then. But
like 200 times better than it was.
The
back
proton streams looked a lot better. The slime looked a lot better. The ghost looked a lot like every single aspect of the special effects looked a lot better. And I think the first one did good with practical effects. But the special effects were definitely lacking.
The first one to me is after watching it again for not seeing it in years. The first one was just so great to watch. Again, Bill Murray and his heyday, all of them in their heyday.
It was a nice little treat, right? I liked it.
Yeah, Rick Moranis was awesome to watch again. It's a shame that he doesn't do anything anymore. He was so quirky, and he just each role he did had like that Rick Moranis touch.
I do believe that he that he made up a lot of what he was rambling on about it, like his party and stuff like that. I believe a lot of that was just
I'm
improv.
sure. Yeah,
I guess so. Yeah, so
I'm sure they cast him for that. I think that guy was.
but he nailed it. He was so good.
It was so
yeah.
funny.
And Sigourney Weaver was hot in the Alien franchise, right? Going on then, or
Yeah,
around
the-
that
the
time. I think they
end
still had it
of, I
going on.
think.
Yeah. So she was good casting. She was cool, and then just seeing Ramis, Aykroyd and Murray, their A game. It was a good film to watch, man.
Before we go too much farther, spoilers.
Obviously, always spoilers.
If we haven't spoiled anything in the conversation so far,
I don't think
I don't think we have. I've been
nothing,
listening.
nothing too
Yeah,
bad.
right.
Okay, cool.
I'm alert.
So plot-wise, do you think that this film had held up to its own?
I think so. I think it was its own thing. It wasn't the same plot as the first one, even. Like,
Yeah.
it was a reboot, but it didn't even take... I mean, I'm sure it took, like, little points here and there from the original plot. But
Yeah,
The
that's
few callbacks. Well, yeah, to the plot. I
like
guess.
the underlying concept of like there's a like quote unquote like supernatural hub
Yeah.
of some sort within the city / this one building, whatever. I thought the plot was a little bit stronger in this one because both the first ones it's just centered around one building. First it's that apartment building, then it's that museum, and it's convenient that it's always her, always Sigourney Weaver. So this one was like, oh no, this is a big portion of the city, right? Those phantom lines or whatever they called them intersecting it there. That's what I really liked. It was a bigger purpose instead of like, it's this one building.
Definitely.
This one building is a central hub of supernatural. No.
I thought it was interesting that I think both original Ghostbusters movies are both written by Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, but they had writers, or maybe Paul Feig. I think he was one of the writers. I think also had a female helping him out, but they didn't rely on Kristen Wiig to write her own, which I think she's done before. I believe she's written. I think so is McCarthy.
Their own lines.
Yeah. So those guys got to go in and just kind of wing things. Probably be a little bit looser. The ladies had a script, tons of improv. I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
dripping throughout this Ghostbusters movie.
All of them are very improv heavy actors. Leslie Jones, the fourth Ghostbuster, I thought she was funny.
I didn't think she was gonna be funny from the commercials. From the commercials, I thought she was gonna be the worst character, and I actually thought she was pretty funny.
I thought she was the second funniest. For sure.
What has she done? What is her? Does anybody know?
Now I thought I read that she got cast from Saturday Night Live as well. Like her appearances on there.
Ghostbusters, Trainwreck. She was in, I guess.
Yeah, she's had some small roles here and there. I think. I don't know that she's done anything.
Blacklist. She was in. Looks like an episode.
Okay.
Workaholics.
I heard he didn't think Kristen Wiig would do it or something, so he didn't even ask her. And he said his wife was talking to her one time, and she was like, "Oh, if he wanted me for anything in that movie, I'd do it." And then the wife was like, "Dude, she totally wants a role," and he was like, "Bam, there you go. That's this role. Boom, yours." So he thought that she'd moved on to like dramas and stuff, because she showed up in The Martian.
She does. Yeah, I guess she's been sprinkling herself throughout that.
I think she's really underrated. In her more serious stuff.
I don't know if I've seen any of her serious stuff, but her funny stuff's good.
No, her funny stuff is awesome. Which
she was in Paul, right?
I'm saying I don't think she's one of those. She's just a funny chick.
Yeah, that's right.
We saw the funny stuff for so long, and now she's showing her
her acting chops.
Yes, and I think she's very underrated. I'm sure Melissa McCarthy is too. I've only ever seen just the same old.
Well, that's another thing I wanted to bring up. In this movie, it seemed like she was different.
She was tame. Yeah, she was a lot tame in this one.
She was tamer,
and I liked her more for it.
Definitely. I thought she did. I think this is one of her better movies.
She had a few lines where she was, you could almost tell she's just coming at him.
Well, a couple times they probably told her, go. Be Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, don't be afraid to hit her with some funny quips.
Yeah, your fans want your loud, obnoxious stuff.
I liked her more that we didn't. I'll be that guy. Sinners, comment on that. Tell me what you think. Do you agree with us?
Yeah, what do you think, Nick? Do you think she did better?
With Melissa? Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I think, haven't we brought that up before?
Yeah,
I'm sure we have.
I think we threw her in with, or at least I probably did, with Will Ferrell. I probably mentioned it with Charlie Day and how they tend to be that same character all the time. Yeah, no, she impressed me this time. She definitely was more collected, They didn't take the chains off and just let her run this time,
I feel like Chris Hemsworth, if anything, got the chance to run a little bit. And I know you didn't like it, but I liked it even more. Like I said, even though when he it's just trying to put his hand to grab the stuff in the fish tank and just hitting it, and I'm like, dude.
I think his Australian accent on top of it was killing me. It just makes hilarious.
It just makes it better.
They're like, it's hey, Kevin, do you mind answering that phone? And he's like, oh, I can't. It's in the fish tank. And they're like, no, the one ringing next to you. And he's like, oh, that one. Oh,
maybe it's just the fact that they didn't fire him.
He's
they can't afford the building that they really want to be in. They're obviously hurting for money, and now they're paying this guy who can't even answer the phones. It just took me out of it. It's goofy, and I guess the whole franchise is just goofy.
They got a goat in the loose. Just call it a loose goat.
That was pretty funny. Now the more lines you throw at me, the more I'm remembering them being funny. But yeah, I think they could have toned him down a little bit, or even fired him. And because if we're looking at the now that you say that, I know where you're going with this. If we're looking at the secretaries, I definitely think the chick that played the secretary in the first two was way better.
She just had, there was something about her. Even her cameo, she was fun. To be that role again.
She's funny. I think she plays the doesn't want to be bothered secretary. Awesome.
I almost think
Ghostbusters. What do you want?
Almost like a hint of some Jersey accent in there. What do you want?
Yeah, she's good.
She does have some twang in there. Yeah.
If you don't got something to say, go say you don't need to be in the office.
I was not expecting cameo from her.
Yeah.
I think we had heard or whatever about Bill Murray, Aykroyd, and I figured Ernie Hudson would probably show up.
Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
But she wasn't until the very, very end.
Yeah.
I almost thought I missed her. I was like, what the hell? I was looking for her. Did I miss her? And then you see her at the end as
What cameo did you like the best?
Well, let's review. Well,
yeah.
Dan Aykroyd was.
In my opinion, the best
Dan
one.
Aykroyd was the cab driver.
The cab driver.
He was
and
pretty good.
he said something interesting because he was like, "Oh, it's just a fifth dimension vapor."
Yeah, it's
thing.
almost like
Class
he was like an
5
older
vapor.
version of himself.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I know a few things. He's like, I don't drive to Chinatown. Something else. And I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
And I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I almost
He just dabbed on her right there.
That was good.
I thought I heard some people maybe saying that that's like their little slip in, saying like, "Hey, this could be bigger. Maybe this is like an alternate thing, or like it's, you know what I'm saying? Like
Same universe,
this
different
guy
story.
knows apparently this much about it. It could be, tied
It's
in
not,
somehow.
though.
Maybe
it's not though, because
I'm
if it
sure it's
was,
not.
because if it was, then they would have mentioned that,
That would have
they're
been
not
like-
the first Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that would have been so. Yeah, the New
And the
York had
logo
no idea
came
what
out of
they were.
nowhere, which kind of made me cringe a little bit. How they got the new logo. I don't know. Did you guys like that part? Am I being too overcritical?
I thought it was unique. I thought it was cool.
We'll circle back.
Hold
to
on,
that.
back to that. Now, Bill Murray's cameo
Was
he had the most screen time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's funny because he was like the doubter, and he was the one that was kind of the most
Skeptical.
skeptical about returning to the Ghostbusters franchise, whether it's lead character or they're rumored he was going to be as a ghost at one point, or cameo in this.
That would have been neat.
So it's funny he got the most screen time as a guy who didn't believe in ghosts in the story. Ernie Hudson was Leslie Jones's uncle.
That was funny.
Who they get the car from? Both cars, right?
I liked the hearse too. I liked the new car a lot. We'll talk about that too.
And
Well-
then Sigourney Weaver was
At the very,
she was Kate McKinnon's mom, right? And she was awesome at it, by the way. The look was good.
She was
Oh.
Kate McKinnon's mom?
Or aunt? Yeah,
Yeah, relative.
I thought it was.
Okay,
Yeah,
alright.
I thought it was mom. Might be aunt.
She's the one I'm having trouble remembering that cameo.
That's at the very end. The credits were rolling, I think.
And the secretary was the hotel
Secretary was hotel
the
clerk.
hotel secretary.
clerk. Yeah.
And
yeah.
she almost acted just like herself, and that's probably just so you can be like, hey, if you don't recognize her, you will by that voice. And sadly, Rick Moranis was the only one who didn't want to come back for a cameo.
Well, also I have to give a big shout out to Harold Ramis there, his statue.
Yes.
R.I.P.
God bless you,
You're the man.
Harold Ramis. I cried when you died.
To answer your question, Dan Aykroyd was probably my favorite cameo.
Okay, me too.
He just dropped the line,
Yeah, he was.
and I ain't afraid
Yeah.
of no ghosts.
Yeah, I'll agree with you guys.
This was the funniest and just the quickest, just out of nowhere. Bing, bang, boom. We're moving on. Didn't hold up the story at all. Super funny.
Now, I don't know if you guys did or not. When Leslie Jones first talked about her uncle having a car, did you think that it might be Ernie
No,
Ernie Hudson?
Didn't even think about it.
No, it wasn't until the end I see the other one pull up, and she's like, "Oh, that must be my uncle or whatever." And I was like, oh, "Okay, here he is." This
Yeah,
is it. And I was like, Ernie
I
Hudson.
didn't catch on as much as maybe I should have. Like I was looking, where will his cameo be, and I didn't think about it being tied to her.
I will say, Ernie Hudson, I feel like didn't get enough to do in the first one. Like enough screen time, and I get it. He's like the new recruit, so whatever. They made up for it in the second one, but he had the best line in all three franchises when he's talking to the mayor in the first one.
Yeah.
He's like, I've only been with these guys a few weeks, but I've seen shit that'll turn you white. Best line in the franchise.
You think so?
I think so. I think just the way it was delivered, how it was said, what it means, like, best line in the franchise. Even by today's Kristen Wiig and Leslie Jones and all them, best line in the franchise.
Okay.
I will give you that. I don't know that whole scene though in the mayor's office in the first one.
True.
Where Bill Murray, he says, "Yes, Your Honor, it is true. That man has no dick." Like I was like, man, that is. Bill Murray was just on it in that movie.
Yeah, it
And I
was.
don't care what his rep in the '80s was. Parties, drugs, booze, whatever. He was on it. And when
So he was a comedy actor in the 80s? I mean, like, isn't that all of them?
Oh yeah,
You
but
know, I mean,
they like
yeah,
to
they
bring
all
it up like
Party
they
hard.
barely survived all of them or something.
Well, they lost John Belushi.
That's true. They did.
Chris
lose
Farley died.
Dan Aykroyd's Blues brother.
Right, yeah. I mean,
They apparently went pretty hard.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe not as hard as the Cinamen, but hard.
We go hard.
We do. And we ain't afraid of no
we
ghosts.
ball pretty hard on this podcast.
Spiders,
Sinners,
out
don't
of
be
all
afraid
these
to
ghosts, why
comment
don't they
on
have
that.
like death as one of them? Like some death manifested.
Okay, can I throw a question at you guys? Why aren't all the ghosts humanoid? Like, where did the dragon ghost come from? That kind of bugs me.
I guess that was in all the movies. They turn into like paranormal. Well, even the first one, they turn into like weird demon things.
Yeah.
Well, even in this one, the one that was like the tall, like stilt
Yeah,
walker
you're right.
who looked really cool. Actually, might have been the coolest one. Calling the shots in their like street rumble thing. Like now that you think about it, what the hell are they ghosts of?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, that's easy.
okay.
Game of Thrones for the dragon, right? I mean,
And it's funny because they don't say anything about. Well,
it would be
what
okay
movie-
if none of them were humanoid.
What movie did they say a small reference about hell?
I mean they
Like, and it might have been only something about hell being full or whatever, so they come back from the dead. Was that this new one? Something like that? I thought one of the
no
movies.
more room in hell.
No, not that zombie
Oh,
line.
that sounded like where you were headed.
I thought in the new one they said maybe like a small reference to hell, but I guess that wouldn't explain creatures because there's no creatures like that. on
Yeah,
there.
we'll have to write
That is a good one.
Paul and be like, my man, what's up?
Did you guys not even think about that?
No, honestly, I didn't.
Well, the first one, like I said, I think watching that, I was just like,
Well-
okay, there's some supernatural scary things, and
Okay,
then just
hold
that
on.
carried over.
The first one had like a demon goddess entity type thing. Maybe she could. It doesn't
You're-
say.
you're reaching.
And
I feel
I'm
like you're
I
reaching.
am reaching.
The
I
one
got
that looked
short
like
arms,
Ziggy
but I'm
Stardust
reaching.
or-
Yeah, the one that looks like David Bowie, like wannabe knockoff there.
I totally told Justin that what's her name in the first one looked like David Bowie, main chick.
In the first one,
Yeah,
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver totally had a Bowie look going on with the weird makeup and the.
She did have some
She's
odd makeup
Bowie-esque.
choices, yeah.
Well, I think
Bowie
they're
esque.
Bowie fans because Zool definitely looked like David Bowie. It looked like a Mystique David Bowie type.
I think the only part
Mixture.
of the first movie that not that it caused problems for me or anything, but I thought was kind of a why decision, the dogs, like the hellhounds, like
That's what I'm saying.
why did they were there, but then they like took over the other, like
Yeah.
Gozer the gatekeeper and Wilfred the watcher or whatever their names are. Like they take over both of
Gozer
them and
the
then they like
gatekeeper.
entrap them and then they're in the stone sort of
Uh-huh.
cut out. That was kind of weird. I don't know why they needed that. Like they could have easily have just been like slaves, like tied up and thrown to the side or something. I don't know.
Also raises the question, like it seemed like specifically they were going for Rick Moranis and Sigourney Weaver. It's like why those?
Like they were
two?
targeted. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially in the second one when it's Sigourney Weaver who happens to own the museum, or did she own the museum, or did she just
worked there.
She just worked there.
Storing paintings, right? Or
Yeah.
cleaning paintings.
Okay.
She's apparently
So-
pretty talented. She plays in an orchestra. She paints at this museum.
Yeah, this is like the most
Just artsy-fartsy.
multi-talented chick.
And she goes for Peter Venkman,
Yeah, like suck ass.
the
That-
C student of the group.
That's something I really had a problem with too. Was the love story was just like, ooh, I don't like this guy. He's really dumb, and then
now I'm in love with him.
like
And he
that.
like
like
and
there
he
was a
comes-
transition where like she doesn't like him, and then all of a sudden she likes him. There was no
Yeah.
real
no subtlety
explanation.
to it.
Yeah,
It was
it's just very just on the nose.
And
just
he
like,
comes on
nah.
strong too. Like he's out the gate like, oh well, I'm gonna drive her back and check her out. Check out her apartment. Like
Like all of a sudden she's just like, yeah, I got a date with him. Like what?
like oh he's checking out my apartment for the supernatural stuff. So I guess I'm gonna thank him by going on a date. Did she ever pay? Did they ever charge her? Because that's some bullshit. She's a paying customer. What, they get family discounts? Not even family yet. And in the second one, I totally forgot that he wasn't the father of the baby.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
It's
actually, when I
been
watched
so long. I was like, oh yeah, they have a kid, and then I guess they separated, and then they got back together. But that wasn't the case at all.
No.
I just felt that was kind of a weird way to go. Like, oh, there's this other guy who we're not going to talk about ever, who's baby Oscar's daddy, and there's this Carpathian.
And they chose the name
Dude.
Oscar. I mean, come on. What were you out of names? Like,
Well, I wonder if that comes up in the real Ghostbusters cartoon because that came before the second movie.
ooh, that's a good call.
And apparently that was a pretty popular franchise.
They changed, like, you know how the secretary's look changes? What is her name? I wish I knew her name.
In the movie?
Yeah, the second movie, her appearance is different than the first movie. I think it's more based on how she looked in the real Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah, she had the bob cut.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
And her clothes were a lot louder. You know what I mean? Just like more.
They had a different style to
Yes,
them.
exactly.
Yeah, in the first one, she was very secretary look. Mm-hmm. And yeah, then the second one, even when she goes to the apartment, she goes to babysit, and then she's like, hey, you want to come babysit with me? I'd been like, that's not what I want to do at all. not for a first date. And I'd feel weird going to a stranger's house to babysit. You know, like, well, I guess Sigourney Weaver knew him, so it's not that weird.
I like how she just like walks in, and they're clearly like just getting done frisking,
And she's totally okay with it.
and she's just like, Rick's trying to apologize, and she's like, "That's fine."
Well, at least,
What?
At least
That's
he's
fine.
not going for her anymore.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah,
okay.
she's probably like, hey, you get back on it, champ.
If you want to use my room next time, you go for it. You know, or if you want to go to Rick's place, it's down the hall.
Yeah.
All right,
He
it
probably-
was down the hall.
He
He
probably
might-
locked his key inside again.
I guess that was the second one, so he maybe moved or something after that. Yeah.
I liked the that museum guy in the second one, looking like Glenda the Witch, in The Wizard of Oz. There, come to swoop up baby Oscar.
Yeah, I was
Like, what, you couldn't have him just like as himself, but instead he's like weirdly dressed up, and then Sigourney Weaver's like, oh, it was, I don't know his name, but it's
Wasn't
like,
he
so
like
why?
a ghost when he did that?
Yeah, he was like.
So
a
did he have like a ghost form made of him, or
See,
was
that's-
he just like the Vigo was like, hey, you're a ghost,
And
go
that's
get
where I
him.
was going with it. Like how that raised my second question. Somehow you get to be a ghost, assuming the Carpathian overlord or whatever is going to turn you into one. But then why are you dressed up like an old granny come to take a kid? Like that just made no sense. Did he look? He was dressed up, right? Like
Yeah.
like some.
Because he had the like Shaquille O'Neal going for the dunk on the Monstars, arm stretched out, and then like snatched up the baby.
It was Michael Jordan on the Monstars.
I guess so. Yeah. Yoda. Wasn't his name like Yodish or something weird like that? Yamish.
I don't know.
Hamish.
Something.
It was weird.
Hamish.
It was weirdish.
And he was. Why? How does she attract all these weird guys? Rick Moranis, her sort of boss guy, curator thing.
Well, I'm sure
Bill-
they're attracted to other girls too, but you're just seeing it through her point of view.
She's
think-
just getting a lot of that weirdo-ness.
I think
Maybe it's
Egon was
her.
underused. Like he was just so quirky and weird and like.
He was straightforward, like straight science. He didn't have room for women. He was not having it.
Like some girl could be just like right in front of him, legs spread, completely naked, and he's just like,
Who?
yeah. He's
Egon,
like,
Harold Ramis.
oh, I thought you were answering.
Okay,
me.
one of
Joke.
my favorite lines is he said something about having half a slinky and he straightened it.
Yeah.
I was laughing my
You didn't
ass
even
off.
have a slinky? I had half a slinky. Until I straightened it.
it.
Yeah, like his ideal birthday party is like having a Bunsen burner or something. Like he was straight like nose
he's
in
definitely my favorite in the first two. So I guess I just like the real technical like science engineer type.
See, I liked Dan Aykroyd in the first one way better than I liked Dan Aykroyd in the second one. I thought Bill Murray was funnier in the first one. Not that he wasn't funny in the second one; he was just funnier in the first one.
I agree.
I liked Ernie Hudson getting his bigger expanded role in the second one now that he was part of the team. But Egon, I think, definitely was underused.
Yeah.
Right away when the second one started, like it's been a while. I hadn't seen
Yeah.
it. It's, like couldn't remember what was going on. And then they show up and they go into the house and they're like, how many of them? She's like 14. And I was like, 14? They got their hands full. And then he's like, how tall? She's like, about 4 feet. And I was like, oh, what? It clicked. And they're like losers. They've been sued by everybody in the state for saving the planet. And they're just like, it's like what the Ninja Turtles were in TMNT, how they're just like, one of them is like dressing up as a turtle and entertaining birthdays and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I
could
was
see
like,
that.
what? I was so unhappy with that whole movie.
I was really turned off by the intro. Like the first several things going on in the second movie, I was really turned off, and I was like, man, it'd been so long. I was like, I forgot how much this sucked.
I
Well,
had
the second
started to
movie-
think that I made a mistake watching it.
The movie got better. It got a little better.
A little better.
You know, I don't feel the second one is much worse than the first one. I feel like they're pretty on par with each other.
Okay, and it's almost like one of those how Scooby-Doo franchise went. You had the thing. I feel like the thing in the first movie should have been in the second movie, right? Like in the first one, they had like all these crazy ghosts coming out, blah blah blah.
How
And
does
the
everything
second
come
one
back
is
to
just
Scooby-Doo on this podcast.
it's just hold on, come back to it. And the second one had just like pink slime taking over, right? Like the second Ghostbusters movie,
Yeah.
just like pink slime and shit. Just like the Scooby-Doo franchise. Scrappy was, I think we had talked about this before. Scrappy should have been the villain in the second one because he didn't get any screen time.
Well, Scrappy shouldn't have been in the franchise at all.
Well, you don't like Scrappy.
Nobody likes Scrappy. Do you
He
like
sucks,
Scrappy?
You guys don't like Scrappy?
Nobody likes Scrappy, dude.
Scrappy was awesome.
Scrappy is the worst.
He
part
was-
of
He's like,
Scooby-Doo.
puppy power.
He took
Yeah.
away everything that made Shaggy and Scooby like were scaredy cats, and
What?
then you always had Scrappy
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
"No, Uncle Scoob, we're gonna go get him," and then they had to go get him.
Everyone
no,
but
he
you
was
hates
like
Scrappy-Doo.
Shaggy and Scooby were like,
Maybe you
"Zoinks,
should have
man,
directed
like,
Scooby-Doo with your
we need to
Scrappy."
get the fuck out of here." And then Scrappy's like, "No way, Uncle Scoob, I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna puppy power his lights right out."
Man, you
And
sound just like him, but
He
he's terrible.
sucks. He sucks.
I can't. You know what? I'm gonna do Scooby Doo
Sinners,
one day.
tell us why you don't
God.
like Scrappy.
Wait,
It was
I can't
one thing
believe
to
you
have him
guys.
in the anime, but when they put him in the real movie and then as the bad guy, I was like, no, okay.
I just thought he should have been the one who made all their like ghost creature costumes come to life because he'd been the one that's seen them.
yeah, that would
Instead
make
of
more
like the
sense.
stupid Alicia Silverstone thing or whatever. Anyways, back to Ghostbusters. I thought the second one's plot was way worse, and the
man.
best plot I felt was this new one.
Yeah,
And like I said, I don't like it's just taking over one building. And the first Ghostbusters gets away with it because it's the first one, but then the second one's like, oh, here's a remake of the Blob, and no other ghosts. Like you had so many ghosts in the first one, which brings me to the fight of the new one. My favorite part when Kate McKinnon and her pistol blaster thingies, and she goes ham on them with like the background of the Ghostbusters theme playing behind her. Oh man, so
she had like
beautifully
dual
shot.
wield. The weapons in general in this one were cool to see.
I was glad we didn't just have the streamers.
I think the proton packs were cooler. I think every weapon they had was cooler.
yeah,
I agree.
and they had a ton. Melissa McCarthy had like a melee like hand.
That
to
was
his thing.
probably the coolest.
the ghost chipper
yeah.
was kind of silly, but that was really cool.
No, that was probably the strongest weapon. It got destroyed real quick though, right? Because it
Yeah,
sucked
it
him
got-
up
yeah, it
and
got
just
stepped on or something.
obliterated him. You know, you didn't have to put him in a trap, which obviously the grenade did the same thing. But this one had less side effects. You know, when you throw a grenade, other things are getting blown up. This thing just sucked in the ghost, spit it out the
Spit it
back.
right back out.
I will
thought-
say
I
the
thought
fact
that was
that they
cool.
even had a throw down with Ghost was cool because in
Yeah.
neither of the originals did they. The whole time it was keep your proton packs on and we'll shoot like whatever it is together and then we'll beat them. And this one they had to like space out. They had to have their Mortal Kombat with these guys.
I liked that after each encounter, she kept updating, updating the proton pack, right?
Yeah.
Like adding little stuff. In the first one, it's like, oh, here's the prototype. There you go. Boom. This is our thing.
I was
And all of
bummed
a
they
sudden
didn't
it's
mention
perfect.
crossing the streams though. Do they? I mean, as far as I know, maybe they didn't.
No,
I
they
don't think
don't.
they
But
did.
I'm okay with that because that's something that can just stay classic with the first one because they cross the streams in the first one and it's like, oh, it's gonna reverse the effect of this thing. So this big explosion we talk about is not gonna happen. Oh, that's how we get around this. But that's fine. Just keep it to that. That's
Okay,
keep
yeah.
that treasured in the first Ghostbusters, man.
When you say it like that, that does remind me that I do think there were too many callbacks to the first one in this.
I don't think
Like,
so.
I felt like they were like, we're trying to establish ourselves a new identity, but we're not going to let you forget the old one because we're going to keep reminding you of things. They even had a fat Mr. Stay Puffed guy, from the first one.
I thought he was pretty
what
cool.
Did you
I
even,
thought that was
well,
cool.
he was cool, but what did you need him for?
Because he was cool.
If you
The big.
I-
I thought the way they made his. Are you talking about the big dude that was? He
I
would
think
like squish the
he falls on
car
them.
and.
Yeah, he like fell.
They had
Oh,
this-
are you talking
the balloon
about
ghosts,
The
those big balloon parade-looking ghosts.
I'm talking about the main bad guy that turned into the big.
No. We're coming to him. We're coming to him in a second.
Okay, we'll get to him.
Yeah, no, I
The
meant,
Yeah,
Stay
the
Puft
Stave.
Marshmallow
I didn't
Man.
like the balloon ghosts at all.
Okay.
I just didn't think that they needed another callback to the original franchise.
I
Create your own
I liked-
identity and go with it.
I liked the balloon parade bit. I thought it looked cool, but you're looking at all these crazy balloons, and then all of a sudden the last one is the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, who doesn't really fit with them. And although I guess it's a parade, you can have what you want.
There was a
But
mascot
you should
in a
have,
parade.
huh?
There's a mascot in a parade.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I
Stay
just,
Puft is a
it just
marshmallow
looked like,
brand in the
It just looked
universe.
like all these, like a dinosaur one, and then like this crazy one, and then last but not least, if you guys remember this one, and it's the one that like takes him down. Kind of silly.
I think
but
I'll have to disagree with you guys on this one. I think the callbacks were great, and I don't think any of them really slowed down the story at all.
Well, what other callbacks do you have? What other were you talking about? Do you?
That was that was the main one that I remember. I knew coming out of the movie that I would forget them.
Well, hold on. You said something about the symbol earlier. Did you like how the new symbol came about in this one? I kind of
like
did.
how the guy tagged it. Or
I kind of thought that was cool.
I didn't have a problem with it. I thought it was inventive.
I didn't
nothing
think the
else.
conversation leading up to it really made sense. Because they're like, oh, have you seen any ghosts? And he's like, no, man, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like a no ghosts allowed sign, you know? Yeah. I thought, I don't know, like the conversation, the dialogue could have been stronger leading up to it. Because it just kind of seemed like, why would you, like, I don't know, like, just looked weird.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I don't know, just didn't really fit. It was
was
just almost-
fine.
it
I
was
like- I
almost,
did-
let's give him a reason to spray paint this sign. But the fact that she was like, this looks like a symbol. She sees art and she appreciates it, and boom.
I'm telling you, she's the best one.
I give her props. That was awesome. I liked it.
What'd you think of the new car?
I liked it. Yeah, I
loved
mean,
it.
it was again another like throwback with the classic. You know, the
No,
Ecto
I don't
1.
think so. I think
Hold on.
I think it was a throwback with its own style. Because I mean, obviously, it was the hearse. It had like the red soft top.
I'm
thing.
glad we
liked it.
got the car instead of getting the building at the beginning of the movie.
I would have rather had the car than the building, but they still had to throw the building in there too.
Well, they didn't get it till the
Why
end.
does that-
though. That's
why
what
does
I
that
was
matter,
happy
though?
about.
Well, like that's what I'm just saying. That there are so many like. Remember this from the first? Do you remember this? What about this? What about this line? Do you remember this photo? What about this picture? Everything.
See, I don't feel like it was really
They could
shut
have
down
cut
or thrown at
amount
all.
the amount of that in half. What did we even need to see the original place if they didn't get it? Oh, I guess
They
they
got it
did
at
at
the
the end.
That's what.
So they even acquire it at the end.
They
Damn
had
it.
aspirations and they acquired.
It's just too many callbacks. If they don't want any callbacks, or you know, like if they're trying to create their own universe and this is separate and this is separate and all this, then be separate.
Okay.
I feel like they did a good job of being their own thing, though. Like the cars were different, all the weapons were different, the story was different, the characters had different personalities.
It doesn't do anything for us if you won't let us forget the originals.
Well, why would you let them forget the original?
hold on.
Because you're
I
trying
think-
to do something new.
I
You had
think
all
we're-
this bad hype. I think that's what you want to do.
But this is okay. Hold on. Like, let's look at a remake that's not in the same universe as. Like, let's just first thing coming on, new RoboCop. Okay, nothing to do with the old one. Like,
I don't
well, I
know
guess
anything
that's
about any
I
of the
guess it's a
Robots.
complete remake. I'm trying to think of something. Just because they're making it not continuous or in a same universe as the first one doesn't mean that they shouldn't have any callbacks to it. They're trying to bring back things that people are.
They're trying
liked
to say,
about the
hey, we
first one.
appreciated
Yeah.
the first one so much. We're
And
making a new one.
And no, that I get. But you had to show all your actor cameos. You've got all these places. You got the car. You got this. You got that. You got this line. You got Stay Puft. I mean, there was like 10 things at least. The music they're scattering out there everywhere. They're using the old music more than the new one, which sucks. I don't blame them. But it's one of those. Just another.
Why Fall Out Boy, by the way?
Yeah,
was
really.
terrible.
That was an odd choice. That,
was a
totally
terrible
sucks.
choice.
I'm fine with the.
They're not
kinda
good
like
doing the
Fall Out
music
Boy.
they're good at.
I kind of like Fall Out Boy. I'm fine with them doing
Jeez,
it,
man.
but they should have made it more. Whatever, guys. I don't need to.
I
Sinners.
used to love Fall Out Boy.
So
Then I
we
got
should-
to high school.
We should do this.
And,
Tyler. Nick, join me, Nick.
I'm just kidding.
Tyler.
Just kidding. They're
Damn
fine.
it.
They're fine.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't listen to them anymore, but they're fine.
I don't get why they went so far off the path of the first one. Like, I thought you were gonna like update it, touch it up a little bit. Instead, we got something so different. I've never even heard the complete song.
It's not good.
I turned it off 30 seconds into it. I hated it.
Sinners, go on YouTube, slow it down to half speed. It makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, or turning it off.
Or listening to the original.
Muting this one or listening to the original makes it way better. Just throwing that out there, sinners. Comment on that. Tell me what you think, because you know how we think.
And how did Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott get together? Like, what a weird thing.
Yeah, really. Sony. How many strings did Sony pull to make that happen?
Like Paul Feig was like, "Hold on, I'm going to take my favorite band and my wife's favorite singer." Boom.
List
Fall Out
everyone
Boy,
that was popular
Fall
in
Out
the
Elliott.
mid 2000s, and then I'll just randomly select two of them.
Right, yeah.
And collab. I don't know why they didn't have Jet and Common singing a song or something. I mean,
Jet and Common.
Anyone else?
Yeah, they could not have been further apart on that.
Like, yeah.
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, big miss, big swing.
And it's funny you said that. They did only play the new theme by Fall Out Boy one time in the movie.
I think they put it in there just to be like, hey, remember this is here too, and then just blasted the old one.
Yeah,
Maybe they
Everyone likes
maybe
it.
they contracted Fall Out Boy and Missy Elliott, and then it took them a while to produce the music, and then by the time they got it, it was too late to contract another one, so they just had to use what they had.
I almost thought that, maybe the backlash from the new song made them like go in there and like switch
Take it out.
switch it out or just show it one time or whatever. But it did come out pretty close to this film. I don't think they would have had enough time to go in there. I could be wrong. But I don't think they would have had enough time to go in there and change it all. Wouldn't surprise me if they did, though.
Yeah, it was no good.
Because the Fall Out Boy theme, unfortunately, has gotten a lot of hate. And I'm one of those guys that I was super psyched about this. I was not super psyched. I was pretty psyched about this movie when it got announced. You know, I had no problem with them girls being females. I had no problem with the remake. I would have liked a third one probably more, you know, but...
So, like, same universe, but new characters?
I wish it would have been in the
Jurassic
same...
World?
I wish it would have been
Jurassic
in the same...
World-ish?
Yeah, same world. And maybe the guys...
So it's
You
like...
didn't have to cameo by themselves. They could have said they all died or something. I don't know. But
Well, they could have been themselves and, like, you know, they could have been the Ghostbusters just retired.
Yeah. Like, I think at one point they wanted that. Like, them to, like, teach the younger guys, you know, or, like, newer recruits at one point. But instead they decided to go in a complete different direction. I was not on the hate train for this movie. So, but I was, I think, a little let down. Like I said, I was not laughing out loud.
From what I've heard, the game that came out in, I think, 2009? 2007? 2009?
Yeah, you're right. Something 2009, 2010, 2008.
It wasn't over 10.
Why don't you just list every year in the 2000s, Chris?
2005, 6, 7,
It
8,
was
9,
either
10.
2001 or 2016, somewhere in between there.
Somewhere in between that small range.
There was a game, came out for, definitely PS3, probably Xbox. I can't remember.
I thought it came out on, like, the Wii.
It probably came
Was
out on
it
the
based
Wii,
off
too.
the likeness of
Yes.
the old crew?
Yes, and all their voices as well, I think.
Yeah.
And based on a script for the third movie that was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
all
Slimer's
right.
in it.
So
You know, Slimer is the
Pretty-
one continuous guy from the franchise.
he's also, yeah, they actually changed the name of the real Ghostbusters cartoon to Slimer and the real Ghostbusters. I think it went to shit after that. But, so yeah, from what I've heard, the game's universally loved by Ghostbusters fans. So, Sinners, if you wanted a third Ghostbusters, go play that game. I've played it. I actually do own it. It gives me a little bit of motion sickness.
Oh, okay.
Some games,
Oh,
the
okay.
controls are a little loosey-goosey, and it makes me not feel good. So
Yes.
I never got too far into it.
I think it was when the Wii came, or around when the Wii came out, because they were like, you know, you get to hold your controller like you're shooting the proton pack.
No, you know what? There was 2 different Ghostbusters games that came out, I think. One for the Wii with the motion controls, and then a completely different... If I'm not wrong, it's a completely different game.
Is it okay? Yeah, well.
I'm not 100% sure.
But across the main platforms, there was a Ghostbusters game at one point.
Yes.
I kind of liked how the Ghostbusters always had like a... When they go to like face their threat, they have like a civil war, you know, like they line up and it's like pull and they pull out
Oh,
their packs, light them up, they turn them on, you know, and then
I'm glad you mentioned
like
that
a team
because-
unison, like comic book pose
That was
moment, you know. And all the girls, I was waiting for it, and I think they maybe had one where they, you know, maybe sling them all out together, but it seemed like it was just all over the originals, which I don't know. As like as a fan of ensembles and teams and stuff like that, that was awesome. I really loved it.
Yeah, like they try like shooting the thing. Oh shit, they get knocked back. Have some funny dialogue real quick, and then it's like all of a sudden they find their balls. And like you said, Bill Murray's there's walking in a line slowly up the steps.
And they just recognize that Bill Murray's like their leader. Nobody has to say it. Like
No one's like-
he gets the command and they listen.
He's
Yeah.
the charismatic leader, even
Yeah.
if he's not the most intelligent.
Gets so off. None of them get mad at how off track he gets all the time. Like they're in jail and they're like looking at the blueprints. Bill Murray starts singing to like another guy and they're just like, okay, guys, well, what if
I feel like there was
you
one
know?
moment, one of them was like cornered. Like someone was talking about something and Bill Murray came in and they were like, sick him, you know, like you're the talker.
Yeah,
he's like the fast
they do
talk.
that. They do that with Ray too. The Dan Aykroyd.
Uh-huh.
Somebody approaches him and then he's like, "Sick him, Ray." And Ray's like, "Oh yeah, I know what we're doing over here. We're just. I think it's number 2 in the museum, the curator
Yeah.
or whatever."
Yeah.
yeah. Bill Murray gets forced to talk to the first ghost they see in the first one.
Yeah.
You know, they're like,
Say
"So-
something to
One of
it."
us, one of us has to say something to it, and then
They all look at him.
yeah, Dr. Stantz and Dr. Spangler.
In fact, thinking
Aykroyd
about it, I
and-
think Egon's the only one who gets out of all this shit.
Yeah.
It's always Venkman or it's always Ray. Egon though.
Egon's like, look how much work I do, guys. You can do all the talking. Okay. Plus, he's like, I feel like he's like socially inept.
You do the talking, I'll do the thinking.
Yeah. I'll make the stuff. I'll be the Tony Stark provider of all your cool tech. Right.
But Tony Stark's definitely a word wizard, you know.
Yeah, Tony Stark's like a combination of all 3 of those guys. Like,
Yeah.
I thought, we talked about the big bad. Well, I guess the literal big bad of the new Ghostbusters. How it was the Ghostbuster symbol that got turned into like a live apparition,
I thought that was cool.
giant manifestation. I thought it was cool.
The effect was really cool. Like how it looked like a torn.
You guys both liked it?
Sack costume almost.
I'm not saying the look was super cool. I thought
think
the
look
idea
was
was
super
really
cool.
cool.
Think about you know who I think it looks like?
It looks like Oogie Boogie Man from
Nightmare Before Christmas. That's
Yeah.
exactly where I was
I
going.
thought that too, but I hated it because of that.
I
was
loved
so
it.
bummed.
Like when the floppy foot thing comes down and smashes the car and
I was waiting for him to start singing.
No, I thought it was awesome.
Snake eyes, just
Yeah.
start belting out some Tim
I
Burton.
thought that was cool.
So Santa Claus,
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with
I could it was another ripoff. Like I was like,
I don't think it was a
the
ripoff.
Oogie Boogie Man.
I think it was the logo adapted to a giant.
that did the Oogie Boogie Man, did come to mind. But I thought the idea of that was cool.
I thought it was
How it came out the logo, crawled out of the little circle with the dash
Yeah.
across it.
Okay,
and
well that was cool, yeah, but I
turns
didn't.
real.
Overall, I didn't like that he was. We brought your logo to life. Oh,
I thought
so
it was
genius. Yeah.
silly but cool and well done. I guess I appreciate it for what it is. I liked it.
I liked it. I was for it.
Do you think the script and everything that happened and stuff? Do you think most of it was to Paul's, the director? Like, do you think that's how he wanted it, or do you think the backlash at all maybe changed?
I think so.
I kind of felt like some of it, kind of the ending, they reached a lot, and I don't know. To me, it just.
To me, from his interviews and stuff, he seemed pretty adamant about the film he's making, right? Like, he was like, I think comedy and horror is a good mesh, because this one was scarier. Like, this one had some, to me, this one had some moments where you're kind of like, man, that's kind of fucking spooky. Like,
I think there's a little more tension, especially the
yeah, I don't want to say scarier. Might be the wrong word, but
What's the word he
the
used?
things trying to get out of the pictures or the mirrors or whatever.
That was cool.
That was pretty cool.
I
Yeah,
thought that was cool.
I agree.
But also with today's effects, you can do stuff like that.
You got to give Paul Feig at least a little bit of credit
I do.
for taking something that everybody was shitting on. Everybody was anti-Ghostbusters. And now at least the critics have turned their opinions around.
It
I
has.
think most
And it's
reactions
made
have been
some
pretty
decent money, too.
in the middle. Nobody loves or hates this movie. I mean, I'm sure there's still a lot of people that hate it. And, there's probably a lot of people that love it. But for the most part, it seems like reactions are just kind of in the middle. I was pleased. I don't feel like I wasted my time at the theater. I feel like I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to go and just come on the podcast and rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
I've just been
We
so
don't,
back
get to,
and
we
forth.
don't get to do that very much. I'm still waiting for that.
I'm just tired of hearing people complain about this movie.
I'm
I don't know.
glad it's over now, yeah.
I don't know if I like it, despite these people, or if it's just a great. I don't know if my opinion is influenced by all these outside.
I think a lot of people like it more than they thought they would. And I also think that a lot of those people that change their mind or have changed their mind aren't going to say they did. Whether they're the generation kind of above us that's like, no, this Ghostbusters will always be the best, blah, 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 blah. And secretly to themselves are like, but the new one's not bad. I'll watch it in secrecy when my wife and kids leave the house so they don't see me.
Oh yeah, or when my wife and kids want to watch it, I'll reluctantly sit in the couch. I'll
Yeah.
sit on the couch and enjoy it too.
Yeah.
But I'll pretend
If
like
I
I'm
walk
not
through the
enjoying
living
it.
room and you happen to be watching it, I guess I'll sit down and enjoy it too. But
I guess I'll sit down with some popcorn.
I am not
and-
putting it in myself.
If instead of doing
Yeah,
my-
I won't.
if
I won't
instead-
touch the DVD.
Instead of doing paperwork in my office, if I happen to sit at the guest table here and watch it.
Dust that disc for prints. You won't find my fingerprints on it.
Oh, okay. I was not. I wasn't on the hate train as you called it, but I was definitely looking at ticket prices because I initially was very skeptic of the whole thing. I still think there are dudes out there who maybe not have done, maybe made a better movie, but I think they definitely could have been funnier. I was so bummed that we didn't get to see Owen Wilson or Bill Hader or somebody take a crack at being a Ghostbuster. Maybe even a co-ed team. If they go on with the sequel, Paul, Sinners, tell me what you think. Get a co-ed Ghostbusters, even if that means increasing it to 5 or 6 members, or even 4, I guess, if you want to.
Franchise that shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I was gonna ask you guys later on if you think it'll move on, but I want a co-ed Ghostbusters team.
You know that's a really good idea. I don't know why they didn't decide to go that route
Yeah.
because you could have upped it to 5. And
Everyone hated
and
the
have
idea
5.
of so many girls doing it that co-ed
Yeah.
seemed the logical path to me.
I don't think it matters. I think they did a good job.
Like, well, hold on. I feel like after the second one, had they expanded, we might have gotten to see like Rick Moranis, as like part of the team, like a bigger part of the team somehow. Maybe like, hey, you're gonna be a reserve buster, huh, big guy? Because you totally helped us. And in this one, it's like Chris Hemsworth also has to put on like a ghost thing and try and like take it on. But yeah, I don't get why they didn't have co-ed.
I think it was fine.
I think it was fine too.
I would go even as far to say, and like this isn't an original idea. I heard this on the Weekly Planet podcast. Not a sponsor. Check them out though; they're awesome. They said they would like to see them go on and quote unquote ruin other franchises, like take other classic franchises, do a gender swap, and just do it anyway. Because I think they did an okay job. This movie was fun. It
was
wasn't
fun.
So I think if they took another old movie from the '80s, revamped it, put all female characters in it, I would probably see it. I think it wouldn't be too bad.
When they decided to go with the girls, like I said, I was not like, damn it, this is gonna suck. To me, it was like, okay, well, somewhere in another universe, this got remade with younger dudes, right, or new generation actors, and I do think we did miss a lot of opportunity. Bill Hader would have been an awesome Ghostbuster. Owen Wilson would have been cool. Maybe Paul Rudd, but not
Paul. Man,
keep
Paul
like Owen, Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn away.
Yeah, I'm glad you said
Seth
that.
Rogen.
I don't
Keep some
want
of those
all
big-
of those guys.
You need like the
doing it.
funny background characters in the movies to take the leap forward to be the Ghostbusters.
In a male version, it could have easily went to several crews. It could have went to Will Ferrell's crew. Could have went to Seth Rogen's crew. Could have went to Adam Sandler's crew. But it's not them that I wanted. It's guys from their crews.
Yeah.
Like Owen Wilson. I want him. Vince Vaughn might have been all right, but I don't want Ben Stiller.
Dude, you know what would have been good? T.J. Miller would have been funny.
T.J. Miller could have been pretty
As
good.
a
Oh my
Ghostbuster?
God.
Oh
C.J.
my
Miller would
God.
have been. I think playing Kate McKinnon's part, if you're not doing all female,
Oh, man, yeah.
I
that would
love
have been
T.J.
good.
Miller.
T.J. Miller is...
Are there any other females you would have liked in because there's some funny ones out there.
I heard
There are funny
I
females.
heard Emma Stone turned it down.
I know Bill Hader... I'm sorry. Bill Murray... When
Suggested
when they
Emma
found
Stone.
when they found out there was gonna be girls, they were like, "Well, who would you cast?" It's funny.
He
said
threw out
Melissa.
4 names,
He
and
threw out
2 of
Melissa
them got
McCarthy.
it.
Did he throw out Kristen
Kristen
Wiig,
Wiig, yeah.
Emma Stone, and I think he said Linda Cardellini.
Yeah, those were the 4.
And
and 2 of
it's-
them ended up getting it.
It's funny 2 of them ended up getting it because it's like, okay, Bill.
Yeah,
like,
when they announced, I think they might have been the first 2. I was like,
I think
what
they
did they? Is he producing this movie now? Come on, Bill. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
is your whole wish list coming true?
I'd rather have. I think it was fun.
I think, man, I don't ever remember her.
Elizabeth Banks wouldn't be bad.
She
She's
probably
funny.
would have done good.
She's okay. I would rather have this than Elizabeth Banks.
Okay, Tyler.
I kind of don't like her that much.
The,
Okay,
She's in a lot of good movies, but she's not the good part.
All right.
Yeah.
She's Miri.
Prove me
from-
wrong. Give me one where she's like the selling point of the movie. I'll wait.
Miri makes a porno with Zach. That was a
Second.
sequel. You just didn't see it. It's all about her.
She wasn't that great in that movie.
Damn it. Fine, whatever. I think she's funny. What about Rose Byrne?
Who's she?
That's the
Africa
girl. That's the girl
Child.
you guys had the hard on for during
She's in like Nick Stoller's movies.
Get 'Em to the
Africa
Greek.
Child. She's
Oh yeah, she's so good.
she's in Neighbors.
She's
with
all right.
Seth Rogen.
What about the girl from Step Brothers who plays Derek's brother's wife?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
one who
Yes.
tries to bang John
Oh,
Rose?
yes.
She would have been funny.
What's
She's
her-
funny in everything.
I
though.
forgot
Yeah.
her name.
I mean, I agree.
It's impossible not to put her.
I don't think she has a real name. Nobody
she's
remembers
in Anchorman. She gives Christina Applegate the idea to type shit on the teleprompter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
She's
it.
awesome.
She's in Where the Millers. I don't know if you just said
She's
that.
really good.
I might have just missed that.
No, I did not see
Oh,
that.
yeah, I don't
Is she in that movie?
Yeah, she's Nick Offerman's wife, like
yeah,
traveling
yeah.
the country or whatever, and I don't know, she'd have been good.
She would be good.
There are options
Oh.
out there, is all I'm saying.
The girl from Workaholics.
Jillian, she's
I think she would have been a good Ghostbuster.
the other one we were just talking about would have been better.
Like she almost would be like a good like new recruit, like that just loves like testing out the shit and like I'm just like to be here. Oh my god, like
Yeah.
I feel like she's got one of those personalities, but I think she would have been kind of a good addition as a Ghostbuster.
She's okay.
There's some funny girls that could have done this. And it's interesting he went like I kind of wish he just focused a little more outside of Saturday Night Live. Hi, there's a whole world of actresses. You
I
could
think
find
these are
someone else.
just like ladies that he likes working with.
True. I can't knock him for wanting to use friends like that. And they all did really good. I am not knocking any other
And
performances.
I think this is Paul Feig's best movie. I think it's better than Bridesmaids. It's at least on par with Bridesmaids.
Yes, it is. And I'm a guy that I like a comedy where there's cussing and the F-bomb just makes everything funnier to me. And I wish almost in like another universe he had like a R-rated Ghostbusters movie where like Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy and him could just drop F-bombs,
What's
like
up with all the fucking PG-13 comedies?
they sell better. Bigger audience. You don't need someone over 17 to get you in if you're under. Sadly, it ruins a lot of movies.
But if you're under 17, how are you getting in the movies anyway?
Because someone older's getting you in.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, why do you... I don't know.
Oh, how are you getting to them? Oh,
Yeah.
Parents dropping you off.
That's what I'm saying.
Or you have those friends. You lie to your parents, say you're at your friend's house, but really you're at the movies.
Well, the rating system is such a crock of shit anyway. Like,
Yeah.
it's just... Like, who's to say what gets what rating? Like, who are these all-powerful content gods that get to decide who gets to see what? Should be up to the parents to decide if your kids can go see a movie or not.
Remember what they say:
watch the
check the
trailer.
boxes.
I don't give a
Check
fuck.
the boxes.
I don't know. What, like... what
Check
do you-
mark the boxes. That's what
They
you
should have a rating that says, use your best judgment, or, like,
Yeah.
whatever your parents dictate.
Yeah, there's been so many movies. I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary "This Film Is Not Yet Rated."
No.
Really informative. Really makes you hate the rating system, because like it's really like a game you got to play. So you make a movie and you put a bunch of shit in there that you know isn't going to make the cut. So that way, the people who do the rating say, well, if you cut this, this, and this, you can leave everything else. So you purposefully film stuff that you know isn't going to make it, so you can put the bad stuff that's a little less bad. So it's just less bad by comparison.
Right.
It still wouldn't normally make a rated R, or And if you get an NC-17 rating, that pretty much kills your film.
Oh yeah, it's like
You get NC-17 and you're not making any
it's a
money.
kiss of death. Yeah.
And it's just sad, that you're going to stifle these people's creativity just to get a better rating. And then, I mean, obviously there's stuff that kids shouldn't be able to see. Maybe we should have 2 ratings: kids and not fucking kids.
Yeah.
I agree. Little sidetrack off the screening thing, or the rating thing.
Yeah.
I heard Wes Craven, when he presented Scream for the first time, he said it took him, I think he said like somewhere between like 5 and 9 different cuts. And I guess after, like I said, like 5 or 6, 7 cuts, the Weinstein brothers who were producing this film, I guess he was like, look, like I can't cut anymore. They won't let me do this. I can't do it. And so the Weinsteins were like, okay, let me go talk to him. They go talk to him and they're like, okay, your movie comes out this date. And he was like, what'd you tell him, man? And he's like, told him it was a comedy. Told him we were making fun of horror movies, like,
Oh, man.
what'd you
Yeah.
say? Meta, it's like a meta horror movie.
yeah.
Yeah, like told him it's like making fun of him. Wes Craven was like, okay, well, you got the job done, I guess. So, all right, on to
I believe
releasing
the
it.
Weinsteins
Yes,
are pretty
that's-
big advocates of like the no rating or less bullshit rating system.
Yeah,
I
it's-
think
Yeah, I believe they are.
they
And then-
fight for us on that.
Well, recently, remember a few years ago when it was kind of big on like movies, bad, your kids watch movies and then they want to do that stuff, so they're going out there and causing trouble and
Yeah, the
stuff.
same thing they do with video games.
One of the Weinstein brothers was coming out talking about how they are trying to promote movies and non-violence and stuff, and he was like, I know that we've produced some of the most violent movies out there. And instantly I'm thinking like, you've produced all of Tarantino's movies. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
really,
safe to say you
Dimension
guys
Films, right?
are probably kings of that contest right there. So
They're like, we've had a few, get by us. All of them.
I think
All
if you're
8 Tarantino films.
I think if you're a psychopath, you're gonna find a reason to be a psychopath. I don't think you're gonna see a movie and then think,
all you gotta do is
"Oh, okay, now I know what I want to do."
open up any newspaper and you're going to see some terrible violent act of crime, like, any day of the week. There's so much more that's going to turn you into a...
That's why I don't like watching TV. I just get depressed.
Yeah. I'm like, geez, I don't even want to leave
There's
my
so
house
much
now. Like,
sick and sad and going on out there. I'm like, nope, staying inside,
Have you
sheltering
ever-
everyone and everything I own.
Have you ever seen Nightcrawler?
Yeah, with Joe.
That'll make you disgusted with the news.
Didn't like
ooh,
that
yeah.
movie either.
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't like that movie?
Nah, I was really let down.
Oh my god, that movie was amazing.
I liked
me
it.
and you are
I liked it.
sinners. I think Tyler and I are
Hold on,
starting to
What didn't you
stray
like
down.
about Nightcrawler?
Before we jet back to Ghostbusters, what didn't you like about Nightcrawler?
Now it's I haven't seen it since it came to DVD, so it's been some time. I don't
on
remember
Netflix.
everything. That is wonderful news, but it still doesn't.
Yes,
make
he
it-
has not watched it yet.
I haven't seen it in a while. Jake Gyllenhaal won. The whole thing was really weird. Like I knew what it was about going into it, and I still was just turned off. Just what?
I love weird movies though. It was just really.
I liked Nightcrawler a lot. I thought Gyllenhaal was good.
I just remember turning it off, and I turned to
tell you,
my
I like-
roommate, and I would.
I
we
like
exchanged sad
Nightcrawler a lot more than I like
glances.
Ghostbusters. Like even,
It was really
I'll-
long. I remember that too.
I'll say it right now. I like Nightcrawler better than all 3 Ghostbusters.
I will disagree with you.
I liked it. I don't know that I would put it above
It's one of my faves this year.
Ghostbuster films.
It's one of my favorite movies I've watched this year. I know it didn't come out this year, but
Came out at the end of last year. Yeah, that's
maybe even before that.
man. I don't know. That's a good movie. I don't know why you didn't like it. But hey, man, it's cool. No big deal.
Moving
no
on.
big deal. Moving on. So like we said, I think wrapping this up.
Oh, okay. Before we wrap this up, then I do want to tell you about the best thing that I've watched this year.
Okay.
Stranger Things just came to Netflix. 8 episodes. Kind of got a Super 8 vibe to it. Set in the 80s. Sci-fi, horror, drama.
Mystery.
Amazing.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. 5 stars. Watch it. I don't give a fuck if you watch Ghostbusters. Watch Stranger Things. It's worth it. It's worth your while.
It has a very Spielberg / J.J. Abrams sci-fi vibe to it, like
Stephen King
like
vibes
E.T.
almost.
meets Super 8 somewhere in there.
Yeah, it's
I've watched the first episode and it was pretty good, so I think I'm going to continue on that.
the kids. They have kid actors in it,
Yeah.
and the kids just nail it. What's her name? Winona Ryder's in it. She does really good. I don't want to spoil anything, even though we just spoiled all these Ghostbuster movies. It's that good. Just go watch it. I would consider doing a whole episode about it. I would go back and rewatch it and do a whole episode. That's how good I think it is.
Well, sinners, check out Stranger Things on Netflix. It's apparently pretty good.
On the Ghostbusters, before we get out of here, rankings out of 10, starting with the new. Or what is your order of the franchise? First off, I know me personally. I guess I would put the new one above number 2. So I would say 1, the 3 for lack of a better word. 1, 3, 2. Is that
Yeah.
across the board?
When we say 3, do we mean the remake?
Yeah.
No, obviously.
Yeah, I agree. 1, 3, 2.
What would you give the new one?
New one out of 10. God, I don't know. I'd give it like a 6.5 or a 7.
I think I'm gonna give it a 6 too. Yeah.
If I'm gonna be concrete, I guess I'll. The visuals alone were pretty cool. I'll go with like a 7.
I'm gonna do 7.
7 for the new one.
Yep. So 6 for Nick, 7 for Chris, 7 for Tyler.
Like I said, I thought the overall build up to the plot, like it had a bigger ordeal, right, with like those phantom line things, because it's taking over more of the city instead of just like this one building being like the hub of all the supernatural shit. The girls did really good. It wasn't as funny as I thought it would, and I hoped it would be. Visuals were awesome. Cool fight scene. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
I think it was better than I thought it was going to be. Like I said, Kate McKinnon, best part. Thor, worst part.
It is weird seeing him without all those locks now, and seeing his normal haircut.
And he looks smaller, too.
I almost wanted him to break out the like Shakespearean speech too, like I'm just so used to hearing him throw it around that him speaking normal non-Shakespearean English, Midgardian English,
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird and with an accent. What would you rate the first Ghostbusters?
Oh,
First
man.
and second, where if this is the middle of your rank, 7, where's the first one come up?
First one for me would be like an 8.
Okay.
8 for sure.
8, all right.
Second one would be probably a 6.
I'll give
It's
it a
probably
6 for
5.5, 6.
All right. Okay. I think I'm at probably an 8 and 5, respectively. For 1 and 2. So.
And I think, not to hate on this new one, but I think generally most people will go 1, 3, 2.
I think so. I don't think anybody's not too many people are going to put this one above the first one.
Like the newer generation likes the new Ghostbusters. The old generation is always gonna like the other one better.
Yuppies, the new guys.
Can't blame them, I guess. Can't knock that off. So wrapping up, Sinners. You've had our opinions. We think it's not bad. We think it's watchable, right? Definitely worth the theater trip. I think.
Well, I think if you were planning on going to the theater, go to the theater because you're probably gonna like it. If you were hesitant, maybe wait for a rental.
Definitely worth the whatever the Redbox price is.
Yeah, even
120,
the YouTube,
115.
Even the YouTube price is like $3.
Yeah, definitely
don't
worth
gotta
it.
go anywhere.
It's a fun family film. Go check it out. Like you said,
Yeah.
we highly approve. And if you like what we're doing, make sure to share this page, right? Like it, comment, tell us what you thought of the movie.
Yeah, subscribe to iTunes, ratings, reviews, as always.
We're on major podcast apps. I use Podcast Addict myself for all my favorite podcasts. We're on there. Check us out.
I use Dogcatcher. It's not free, but it's a good app. If you got an iPhone, obviously iTunes. That helps us the most anyway.
Just get out there.
I think Google Play does podcasts now.
Does it really?
Yeah, our iHeartRadio, we're not on there yet, but I'm going to submit us.
Awesome. So get out there, show some support. We appreciate it. Any and all of it is welcomed. And as always, if there's just one overarching theme of this goodbye that we want you to take away tonight and dream of, it's that you don't need to be a dick. Support the podcast. Shut up, that's probably Tyler's thing. They don't call him Cinamen Tyler for nothing.
Oh, yeah, that's why they